Okay, good evening, friends. We're continuing in Sefer, Devorah. We're up to Middah 11. Chesed LaAvraham. As we like to do every week, the happy recap. The first 10 Middahs, where the Ramak tells us that it is ra'oi that we should emulate Hashem, not only in how we look, but also in our actions. So the first one was emulating the supernatural tolerance of Hashem, that Hashem bestows life on us even when we use it against Him. That's Mikel Kamaycha. Number two, Noisei Avain. Hashem, when we do an Avera, we create a destructive angel, and Hashem has to sustain it, and He does sustain it. Hashem supports the destructive angel that we create when we do an Avera. Number three, Va'over al Pesha. Hashem wipes away the sin personally. L'sheiras nachalasai. He considers us His blood relative. Le'hechsik lo'ad apai. Without any reason, Hashem will say, okay, I'm going to put an end to the anger. Ki chapetz chesed hu. In a person's repertoire, the one that Hashem sees most dominant and prominent is Chesed. Yashuv Yirachamenu. Yashuv Yirachamenu is that when Hashem takes us back, He takes us back even more than had we not sinned in the first place. Yeah, He's closer to us even more than had we not sinned in the first place. Yichboi Shavoinoseinu. That Averos Hashem squelches, He doesn't allow it to rise before Him. But the mitzvahs rise endlessly before Him. V'sashlech b'mtzulas yom kol chatosim. That was a pretty lamdasha one. That when a person does an avera and he's worthy to get punished, the punishment that the enemy was primed to bring upon the person, once we do tshuva, it has to go somewhere and it goes right back on him. And he quoted the pasuk, V'sashlech b'mtzulas yam. The yam represents the nations of the world. That was number 9, yeah? V'sashlech b'mtzulas yam. Titein emes liYaakov. That when Klal Yisrael is on the level of Yaakov, which is a mediocre level, we just do what we need to do. They don't go l'fnei mishur sadin. Hashem as a midah of emes, that there's a logic that Hashem has to be merachim on us, because we're doing, so to speak, we're doing what needs to be done. We're doing what's just and straight. So Hashem is like morally required to show us kindness in a sense of obligation. Okay, now we're up to Chesed LaAvraham. You ready? Here we go. You have a Sefer? You want a Sefer? Here, take it. Share it. Memorize it.
Everybody. Okay.
Chesed LaAvraham. Now, if Titein emes liYaakov are those Jews that go according to the letter of the law, they don't do anything more than they're obligated to do than what the halacha dictates, than what their responsibility is, then Avraham represents those who go above and beyond the measure and the call of duty. Chesed LaAvraham him hamisnahagim ba'olam. They accord themselves in the world lifnim mishuras hadin, above and beyond the measure of justice, ka'Avraham Avinu. So we see that the midah of Avraham is lifnim mishuras hadin, as opposed to Yaakov, that reflects those who don't know how to go lifnim mishuras hadin. That, like we explained last week or 2 weeks ago, that the objective, the job of Yaakov is to be the Masei Avos Simon Labanim for the multitude in general. But the midah of Avraham is to go l'fnim mishuras hadin. So for those Jews that go above and beyond the call of duty, Hashem has a special mode of kindness. In other words, yes, Hashem is merciful, compassionate, and kind to everyone, but when it comes to the Avraham people, the people that go above and beyond the call of duty, Hashem has a special kindness for them. Hashem does not hold up the din according to all its strength. He doesn't even say, okay, let me just be just with them. No, Hashem does better than that. Hashem enters with them more than what's just. Like, so for the average guy, so then Hashem says, look, you do what you're supposed to do. Like, you deserve a certain dispensation. I think 2 weeks ago when we explained this Middah of emes la'amitai, where, maybe according to the strict wording, then there should be a very severe punishment. But if Hashem, so to speak, interprets the logic of the law and why maybe it's proper to show this person a certain courtesy, let's say, so that's not outright mercy. It's like a yashrastic mercy, that it's proper that Hashem show a certain justice, right? I think that's how we explained it. I think the mashal of Goldberg gave is that by a melech basar v'dam, let's say the judges have to follow the strict words of the Constitution. They can't, so to speak, take into account the intent of the law. But the king could sometimes try to, in other words, let's say like this. A guy who's hired to mark a test, so he's just gonna, he knows this is the question. The answer is yes, no, or maybe. And he's hired just to mark it according to what the answer is. But if the teacher understands that the purpose of the question was to make sure that the person, the student reviewed, and from the words, even though he's not getting the question exactly correct, it shows that he has some level of understanding, so then a dispensation, an allowance could be made. That was the madrega of
Did we say that this is
emes liyakov.
It sounds like Darsh time of the Quran, no? That is really this is Reb Shimon, no? Like, taking a collateral from like an almana, right? You can't, but if the reasoning behind it is because she's poor, so she's rich.
So it's not like changing the halacha, but it's at least
it's interpreting it. It's the reasoning behind it.
Okay, so it's not interpreting would mean okay, so the halacha doesn't apply in this case. No, we're not saying it doesn't apply, but
it changes.
But if it logically wouldn't apply as much, then the severity of the punishment won't be as bad. So it's not outright just explaining the rationale, but it's giving a certain leeway in terms of punishment or the severity of what was done. So it's like a semblance of that. But now we're learning the Middah of Chesed li'Avram, where not only does Hashem deal with a person b'yoshar, ela nichnas imam lefnim min hayashar. Hashem goes above and beyond what is just. Kamay shehem misnahagim, the way these righteous people act. V'hainu chesed la'Avraham. HaKadosh Baruch Hu misnahig b'midas hachesed. Hashem accords himself with the midah of kindness. Im oisam shehem kamay Avraham, with those Jews who are like Avraham, b'his nahagos, in their practice, in their custom. Rav Goldberg explains, we say in Kaladain, Zechus umishar lifnei chisai chesed v'rachamim lifnei chivaydai. We say Zechus umishar, before his kisei is the hanhaga for average people who accord themselves in the midah of emes liyakov, that Hashem acts with them Zechus umishar, the mishpat and yoshar. But chesed v'rachamim, so that's lifnei chisai. Chesed v'rachamim is lifnei chavaydai. Are for those people that are noyeg lifnei mishras adem. Okay. Now, how does this apply to us? You ready? So when you're dealing with the average beer, then you should say, look, the person might not be a unusual tzaddik, and they're not doing anything above and beyond the call of duty, but I have a certain moral responsibility to show kindness to them. That's how we act to an average person. But to someone who shows the midah of Avraham, who goes above and beyond the call of duty, we're required to show extra chesed to them, and we're going to see to have extra ahava to them. So in other words, for tzaddikim and Talmidei Chachamim, as much as you need to love every Jew, you need to go above and beyond when it comes to tzaddikim and Talmidei Chachamim. So let's see how the term Devorah applies this. Gam ha'adam Also a person, im hayois she'im kol adam yeh misnahig b'tzedek u'v'yoysher v'mishpat. Although with every human, every person, he should accord himself with justice, with righteousness, and with justice. Im hatoivim, with the good people, people who come to Torah Devorah, v'achasidim, and the pious, tia hanhagasai lefnim mishra sadin. One's hanhaga should be above and beyond the call of duty. V'im l'shar ha'adam hayasavlan ktsas. If for other people you're a little bit tolerant, if when it comes to your younger sister you're a little bit tolerant, la'elu yoser v'yoser. For tzaddikim, these more and more. V'yirachim aleim, and you should have mercy on them. Li'kanei simahim lefnim mishra sadin, to deal with them above and beyond the call of duty. Shehu misnahig ba'im shar adam, the way these people act with others. V'tzarech sheyu elu chashuvim lefanim ma'od ma'od. These people who are on the madrega of Abraham should be very, very chashuv in your eyes. V'chavivim lai, and beloved to you. V'hem yu me'anshei chavrasai, and they should be from your inner circle. So in other words, everybody has inner circles and outer circles. The outer circle should consist of anyone whose mother is Jewish. Yeah? The inner circle, you should have an inner circle. Who are they? Avraham Avinu's. People who go above and beyond. People who learn extra. People who do extra chesed. In other words, your inner circle shouldn't be, the people that you could hang with, chill with. Right? You know that word? That word came to 5 towns?
Yes.
I'm joking. Yeah? So who should be, your inner circle? Your inner circle should be Anshe, the Avraham Avinu people. So it's very interesting. Rav Goldberg brings, from here we see, that for the good people, the Chasidim, the Toivim, it's not enough to have mercy on them and to be tolerant, but you should cherish them more. So the question is, I should love them more. Don't I have a mitzvah v'ahavta l'recha kamaycha? There's no distinction made. V'ahavta l'recha kamaycha to some people on this level and to other people on a higher level. So he brings from the Chuvas Maharil, Siman Aleph. Who knows the Gemara Psachim? Shemayin Ho'amsuni was doiresh all the esin in the Torah until he got up to the pasuk Es Hashem Elokecha Tira, and he didn't know what to do with it. So he says it must be wrong. Must be my drushas of Es are, baseless, and he basically abandoned his pursuit of trying to darshan the S's until Rabbi Kiva taught him Es l'rabbis Talmidei Chachamim, that you have to fear Talmidei Chachamim. So the question the Maharil asks is, okay, what are we going to do with the pasuk v'ahavta Es Hashem Elokecha? I understand Es Hashem Elokecha Tira is Marba Talmidei Chachamim. What about V'yahavta Es Hashem Elokecha? And the Maharil says V'yahavta Es Hashem Elokecha. It's obvious that's coming to say not only do you love Hashem, you should for sure love Talmidei Chachamim. That Shimon HaAmsuni knew you have to love Talmidei Chachamim. But what he was bothered by is, I understand you should love Talmidei Chachamim, but you should be afraid of them? What are they going to do? They're going to zap you with lightning? What does it mean to fear Talmidei Chachamim? And the Maharil adds that even though by all Jews it says V'ahavta l'recha kamaycha, you have to say that an extra chiba and an ahava aza is that you should have an extra love and a powerful love to Talmidei Chachamim and for what we call the Avraham people. You should love them like your own soul. Like the Gemara says in Shabbos, somebody said, Teisi li, that when a court case of a Tzur M'Rabbanan comes before us, I always look for some kind of redeeming quality in them. So in other words, that even though there's a mitzvah to love every single Jew, there's a greater mitzvah to love Talmidei Chachamim. Also, the Sefer Charedim says, from the Ahavta es Hashem leikacha, es comes to include Talmidei Chachamim. You should love them like your own children. In fact, the Gemara says in Shabbos, Rava said, if you love Talmidei Chachamim, your own children will be Talmidei Chachamim. Rav Goldberg says that the Ahavta l'reacha kamocha only demands that you love another Jew in your heart, or to speak about their praise. But you don't have to like show them, how much I love you. There's no obligation to go up to your friend and like, buy him a love card. I just love you. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. He might get nervous. Okay? So that there's no requirement. But a Talmid Chacham, you need to love like your own children. Now, if you love your own children, you show them. You hug them, you kiss them. So you should hug Talmidei Chachamim. You should kiss them if they let you. Okay.
It's like the stardom do it.
Yeah.
Show real respect to them. Kavod harav.
Kavod harav. So says Rav Goldberg. Now we understand what the term of Devorah means. By a regular Jew, there's a mitzvah v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. That's the regular mitzvah v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha is emes liakov. It's like a moral obligation. You're a member of my people. I have to have a certain liking for you. But by Talmidei Chachamim, since they're on the madrega of Avraham, they're the Chesed Avraham people, I have to have a special love for them. That comes from the Ahavta es Hashem leikacha, l'rabbis Talmidei Chachamim. Also, since they're Bnei Avraham, we have to emulate Hashem, which is the 11th Middah, Chesed Avraham.
Why is this whole Middah not a Kol Shekain from the last one? We keep going back to, I keep going back to it.
It's not a Kavachomer.
These Midas are stuff that we couldn't perceive ourselves. So once we've already learned the concept of what's it called?
Okay.
I could imagine that, like, so of course someone who's on a higher madrega than your regular Pintaliya, like, of course I would
okay, but
love.
1 second. Kavachomer, the way Kavachomer works is like this. If the minor leaguer could hit a ground rule double, then Kavachomer, a major leaguer who's injecting himself with human growth hormone, could certainly hit, what, a home run? No, you have no right to say that, at least a double. So the Kavachomer would only say, if I have a moral obligation to show what we call Chesed b'mishpat, Chesed b'yoisher, to the Yaakov people, certainly I would have to show Chesed b'yoisher, Chesed b'mishpat to the Avraham people. But I don't have a raya that I have to have Chiba Yisera. That wouldn't be,
Well, you won't have to call the Chomer the other way around. If you have to show love to the people
Who's to say that?
Because they're Avraham people.
Yeah.
But these guys are not Avraham people.
No,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that you
Maybe
have to, if you have to be nice to these people, who
It's not nice.
You're nice, maybe
It doesn't say I don't have to be nice. I have to go above and beyond and show them extra love, but that's because they earned it. But this guy didn't earn it. This guy just does exactly what he's supposed to do. This guy comes, davening is 7 to 7:40. He comes 7 and he leaves 7:40. He doesn't do anything extra. And the fact that he doesn't bring his phone into shul, that's not extra. That means he's actually going into a shul and planning on davening. Because if you go in with a phone, then you're not even making an attempt. Did I ever tell you about that?
once or
I
twice.
don't think so.
Yeah, if you go in with the phone, you're not even attempting to pray. You're saying, Hashem, maybe I'll do other mitzvahs today.
A little bit shards for the other.
But you have your phone on your
No, I would not even a taiva. What?
You have your phone.
Have a good night, everyone. Yeah.